Hello, welcome to your online intramural flag football captains meeting. In this meeting, we're going to go over some particulars on how people can be eligible to play flag football and also the rules of flag football. After completing this video, there'll be a quiz that the captain will have to take before his team or her team will be allowed to play intramural flag football. Here's some contact information for you. The general one is the CREC at NW Missouri account, and there's the phone number to the rec center. Cody Moore will be the graduate assistant in charge of flag football this year, and he'll be handling most of the information that you need. Every player on the team must have an IM Leagues account. There's the website to go to that. You obviously have yours, you're doing this quiz, but every player must have this. They will not be allowed to play unless they have an intramural leagues account because they will not be on the roster. Also, you'll have to have a minimum number of players to be on that team before you are scheduled. Please make sure that players are only playing on one team. This means if you're in the fraternity league, you can only play on one fraternity team, not multiple fraternity teams within your fraternity or sorority. You also cannot play on one fraternity team and then one men's independent team. It is one team for flag football. All students must be enrolled in 9 hours. Graduate students have to be enrolled in 6 hours. If you have a person that is on the football team that's a red shirt, they're scholastically ineligible but practicing with them, they've completed for other varsity teams within the last 5 years, they would not, and earned a letter, they will not be allowed to play intramural flag football. A pledge or associate member of an organization may participate for that organization only if he or she's been on the roster, has not been on the roster of another team. Once a person's put on a roster and they play on that team, that's the team they must stay on. They cannot transfer to another team. Also, you cannot play under an assumed name. This will constitute a violation of the rules and will probably cause a forfeit. Also, the player will not be allowed to play anymore. So this is something we do not want to take care of. Make sure that they use proper identification. For flag football, we play with 7 on a squad. You do have to have 5 present at game time. This means if you play at 3:30, they need to be there before 3:30. Game time is forfeit time. If we don't count it till 3:32 or 3:35, it's 3:30. If you have some extenuating circumstances, you need to contact Cody or the intramural office before the game, not afterwards. Protest. We do not protest judgment calls. The only protest will be a misapplication of the rules, which needs to be done before you, and according to football, before the next down, or if there's an ineligible player. If there's an ineligible player you think playing, you must protest this in writing within 24 hours for it to be valid. Defaults. We want to keep these to a minimum. If for some reason your team cannot play that day, you need to let us know by 2 o'clock of that day or earlier, preferably, so we may contact the other team and let them know there will not be a game that day. This helps everybody out, helps us schedule officials, timers, other team members. If you do this, we will keep you, it'll go down as a loss, but we will not count it and remove your team from play. If you just don't show up, then that team will be removed from further play. If we do postpone games or reschedule games, we will make that decision at 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday, the day of the game. We will send this information out on intramural leagues for you to have information about that. There'll be no need to call in. We will not reschedule any games during the regular season. If there is some type of conflict, there is a procedure here you may go through. You can check with that, but both captains would have to be in agreement. If you want to switch a game to a different time, you need to contact the other captain. They have to agree to it. They don't have to agree to it. You then must contact the intramural office to make sure that time is available before anything's scheduled. But mostly during the regular season, there will be no rescheduling of games. We will reschedule playoff games due to inclement weather. Okay, let's talk about some specific flag football rules now. Make sure you pay attention to these. There is a link that you can click on and have the rules all in front of you if you'd like. You can go and get that now or just follow along here. This will help you when you take your quiz. We also want to make sure that you relay these rules to your team members. This is your responsibility to relay their members. All right. You do have to have 7 players. You can play that. We have to have 5 because 4 of them have to be on the line of scrimmage. There must be 5 there to start, and there's more get there you can add. If any time from the halftime on there's a spread of 30 points or more, the game will be over. This just means we will no longer keep score. We will no longer officiate the game. However, the field will be yours to complete your game until the next time to start the next one. Also, if there's less than 5 plays to go and there's a 19-point difference, the game will be called at that point because there will be no way the other team will win. Okay, equipment. This is very important. 141. Jerseys have to be tucked into the pants. Any shirt that you have, t-shirt, whatever, must be tucked in so that the complete flag belt is seen. If they're not tucked in, the shirts must be cut off so they're at least 4 inches above where the flag belt is. It would be better if you wore shorts that did not have pockets or belt loops. Will allow you to wear these, but it's a good chance these could get ripped off during play. Also, no metal or anything like that on any of the clothes, on any of your clothes. The belt must be worn without knots. There's an attachment that goes on to the flag. It's very simple to put on so that when you snap the flag, it comes right off. When you do make a tackle, you grab the flag and hold it up right there, and that's where the ball will be put in play. Wherever the ball was when the flag is taken off is where the ball will be down. That means, though, that a person may be standing on the 1-yard line, but if they have the ball extended over the goal line and the flag is then removed, it is a touchdown because the ball broke the plane. If so happens that the referee sees the belt pulled, but the tackler does not have it in their hand, the runner continues to run, and then the belt falls off of them a few yards later. Wherever that belt falls on the ground, that's where we'll place the ball. When we play flag football, everybody must wear shoes. No sandals, open-toed shoes. Tennis shoes are fine. Molded rubber cleats are fine, but we will not take any metal-type cleats. There can be no metal-tipped type cleats out there at all. You also can't wear ski boots, track spikes, baseball spikes. They have to be rubber-type projections on there. No headwear except for a sweatband, a cloth headband, or a stocking cap. Those are the only 2 things you can wear. No ball caps, no do-rags, nothing like that. No knots in anything. No jewelry whatsoever. You have a choice. You can, if you have some jewelry on, you may take that jewelry off and play, or you can leave the jewelry on and watch. But we will not allow jewelry out there. This is safety for everyone. We don't want anybody getting an ear or anything else torn off out there. Okay, some definitions in Rule 2. Basically, anytime the ball touches the ground, it is dead at that spot. On a snap back from the center, if it hits the ground, it's dead there. Anytime somebody drops a ball or a pass, it's dead right there. You do not go on and continue on with the play. There's no fumble recovery. Okay, some game timing rules. The game we do not use timing devices, but we do play in halves of 22 plays each. Intermission will be 5 minutes. If the game is tied at the end of the game in regular season play, will remain a tie. You do get 2 1-minute timeouts per half. They do not carry over. Once the referee gives the ready for play, this is 3-5-1. Put the ball, we should snap that ball in 30 seconds or less, please. We'll give you a little leeway the first week, but after that we need to hustle up. And substitutes must come on the field directly into the team area. They have to be at least within 15 yards of the ball when the ready for play is given. There's no sleeper play where somebody sneaks in off the sideline and stands inside there, and then when the ball snapped, they run down there. It's a real sneaky play. That will not be allowed. Rules 4, 5, and 6. Once again, the ball is dead and the runner is down when any part of their body other than their hands or their feet touch the ground. 5-1-2. The team in possession of the ball shall have 4 consecutive downs to advance to the next zone by scrimmage. That means we have 20-yard zones out there. There's a 20-yard line, a 40, a 20, and a goal. You have 4 downs to get to each one of those zones. If you don't reach that, then the ball turns over. You can either punt the ball or go for it on 4th down if you wish. And if you do not make that line to gain, then it will go to the other team. If there happens to be a penalty where the down's replayed, then you will get that down over. When you do decide to punt the ball, you should tell the referee, we're going to punt the ball. There is no rushing. Somebody on the team punts the ball, make sure they're behind where the ball is supposed to be snapped. The other team, where they catch the ball, where the ball hits the ground, is where the ball will be put into play. You cannot throw it down there. It must be punted, kicked, like a regular punt. Rule 7, passing and handling. You have to snap the ball. It can be between the legs or it can be sideways. That either way is legal, but it does have to travel 2 yards in the air. You can't get up underneath there and take a direct snap. 7-3-1. Anytime the ball is marked ready for player, the person has to be in bounds at least 5 yards before the snap. And also, one player can be in motion, not toward the opponent's goal line, but they do need to be in motion. And if there's more than one person in motion, then a shift, they must all become set for 1 second, or that will be an illegal shift. 7-7-1 in flag football, all players are eligible to catch a pass. You can only throw one forward pass during a down. This means if you throw the ball forward but the person catches it behind the line, that person can then not throw it down the field. If you throw the ball backwards behind the line and they catch it, they could throw another pass because that would be the first forward pass. So make sure you're running that play correctly. Rule number 8, scoring. Again, touchdown, of course, is 6 points. We have 3 extra point lines out there. The 3-yard line, if you successfully complete the extra point, is worth 1 point. If you decide to take it from the 10-yard line and score, it's 2 points, or you can go from the 20 and get 3 points. This will be, you will tell the referee where you want to go from, and they will tell the scorekeeper. Extra point plays do not count as one of the 22 plays for each half. And then, of course, a safety is worth 2 points. Penalties. Number 9. Anytime the officials are out there, they're trying to help you, please comply with their request. Don't intentionally kick the ball, throw it away, swing at anybody. All of those are 10-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. We do not want to get into that. We're out there for a good time. No unsportsmanlike conduct toward each other. Profanity. We do not want profanity out there. There's no reason for that. I don't care if you're just talking to yourself, talking to our team, it will be prohibited. And just if it's loud enough for people to hear on the sideline, it's too loud. We're going to keep that to a minimum. If a player does become ejected for the game for unsportsmanlike conduct, you will play one player short for the remainder of that half. And if it happens to be in the last 4 plays of the first half, you'll play the whole second half with 6 players. Okay, sometimes people forget this, but 9-3-1, as a runner is running with the ball, the defender cannot punch it, strike it, try to strip it, or steal the ball. Your job is to go for the flag, not the ball. All right. Now, of course, on passing plays, you can always knock the ball down, but this is when it's in player possession. Blocking. This is very important, especially if you have not played flag football before. Basically, you block with your hands behind your back or in front of your chest. The elbows are not extended. The knees are not extended. Basically, it's a block charge type situation like we have in basketball. Defensive players are supposed to go around anybody in their way. Offensive blockers cannot move into the defender's path. Now, will there be contact? Yes, there will be contact because there's contact in basketball, excuse me. And if that happens, it could be a foul, but it might not be. Hands and arms can never come into play. You can't put a hand on somebody and swim by them, anything like that, push, shove, that's all out. All right, this is supposed to be a safety factor. This is flag football. Be careful with this situation here and use proper technique. On the other hand, the runner shall not flag guard by using their hands or arms. This means that as they're running down the field and somebody reaches for it, they knock their hand away. You have to be in normal running mode. The official detects an unusual movement that could be flagged for that move right there. Remember that the runner cannot stiff arm or drive over a person, run over a person. This is flag football. So the way I like to describe it is basically if you have the ball, you're it, and we're playing tag, and you don't want to be tagged. So you need to do everything you can to dodge away from the defenders. But you can't stiff arm or run over anybody or jump over anybody. You can spin if you think that'll help, but that's really the only move that you can make. The defense also cannot hold, grasp, or obstruct the forward progress of a runner. This will be a judgment call. If you're standing your ground, the runner can't run over you. However, you can't grab onto the person as they go by you and hold on while you pull the flag. These are just some rule enforcements for some examples for some play. We'll use these with the officials, but this is something good for you to read over so you understand how the plays work on a loose ball play, which is a pass play. If we have a roughing the passer call, something that's new in the last couple of years is if the pass is completed, that will be enforced from the end of the run or where the catch is ended. If it happens to be incomplete, we'll do that from the previous spot. Also, if there's a foul during a touchdown, the foul by the defense, that can be put on the extra point. Like say, well, we'll go from the 20-yard line, then we'll enforce it to the 10 and go for 3. Or you can have that enforced on the succeeding spot where the play will be put in play on the 14-yard line. Same way if they run an extra point play, if the defense fouls during a successful extra point play, you can have that put at the succeeding spot. Very important. It's your responsibility as captain to make sure all members of your team know these rules. Most times when people try to argue with an umpire or supervisor, it's because of their ignorance of the rule, and ignorance is not an excuse to yell at someone. So it's best to know these rules, and we do have students, your fellow students, working the games. Will they make some mistakes? Sure, I'm sure they will, but there'll be a lot of mistakes made by the players also. So if you have a question to ask them please. Yelling and screaming and cursing will not work very well. Your rules, if you haven't already not downloaded them, they can be found on this page of the IM Leagues. Over there under the reference links, there's a sports rules and forms that you click on. There'll be flag football rules. You hit the download and you can get a copy of that. Anybody can get that when they have their Intramural Leagues account. Make sure you take your quiz and submit that by Wednesday, September 19th at 11:59 p.m. If that is not done by that time, then your team will not be scheduled for the first week of play. And until that quiz is submitted, you will not be scheduled to play. Also make sure that you get your team members in there. You do have to have a minimum of 5. If you don't get 5 on there, we will not enter your team into the playoffs until 5 people show up on the team. We thank you for your time on this.